Hi, my name's Terry Bivona, and I'm 52 here in July of 2011. About a month ago, I was a 12-year veteran hospice nurse, which I still am on the inside, but I got diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, so very terminal, very, very advanced, actually through the entire skeletal system in my body, through my spine, ribs, and pretty much every major or moderate-sized bone. Enough that I'm in hospice care now as a patient and have a 3 to 6 month prognosis, and really trying to do this the same way I've been living the past several years of my life, by 2 words. Am I being loving, which includes loving and protecting me, and am I being responsible? And I try to live my life by those 2 creeds and then see what life yields to me. And in the past 5 years, I've had my highs and lows, obviously, like all of us. But the bottoms are different, because I usually do my best to honor that creed of living lovingly and responsibly, and nothing has failed me in that yet. And meaning that if I am there, there's nothing else, that there's no guilt, shame, or anything, because I'm doing the best that I can in life. But with this terminal diagnosis and 30 years of healthcare, I have had so many incredible, insightful, and funny and rich experiences that I really want to take these video clips in this series of videos called A Life Worth Living. And I want to share these stories with you to validate that my life, though 52, some could be really sad that it is too short. I want to actually use these video clips to demonstrate that it's not too short, and that my life has certainly been a life worth living. And part of that is because of the exchanges and the education I've had in people teaching me really important things in life and reminding me of really important things in life. So with that, I want to share this first story, and it's a fella named John, and the story is called The Cookie. And so about 10 years ago, a little longer maybe, I was working in ICU, heart transplant, ICU, and cardiac surgery. And John was a 40-something-year-old fellow waiting for a heart transplant. And they had a real difficult time doing blood matching and tissue matching for him, to such an extent that in 3 months he actually did not get a heart transplant, and he died. And the gift for me was, in those 3 months of waiting for his heart transplant, I was spending 40 hours a week with this man. And that 3 months I spent more time with him than my brother's experiences in our entire adult life. So I learned to love this man and found him to be, he kind of became quite a philosopher in his own right, and would be able to lay in his ICU bed and a glass wall and a door open, so he could see people and hear things when they thought that he couldn't. So he got to really see kind of a backdoor side view of life, and he became pretty wise. And one of the things he shared with me and kind of all of us was this image of like a little cigar box, and he would hold his hands like this. You know those old cigar boxes? And he said, in that cigar box, if you put in all of your could-haves, should-haves, and would-haves, all the things you thought you should have done, could have done, and would have done, he says, every time you open that box, it's always empty. And that was a great lesson for me, because he was demonstrating through this metaphor that any wishful thinking without action leaves you empty. It doesn't go anywhere, and it really doesn't have much of a return. And one of the greatest examples of how he proved that value for himself was in this county that he was in, he really wanted to create an eco-friendly landfill, which is kind of dividing everything out, but much more than just throwing dirt on top of recycled goods or trash goods. He actually figured out a way to divide the contents, the highest level of recycling, the highest level of productivity, and just as green as could be. Very different and very revolutionary. And he did this single-handedly, as working as an electrician, and actually worked in different states. He kind of had to follow the money. And in the midst of all that, he created this project. And when the county voted, he only lost by 1 vote. Incredible. And that demonstrated that thing that he lived by was, in that box was not this landfill, because he did it. He implemented, he took action, and his own self-esteem and validation was just astronomical from that. But I want to share this. When he died, I asked his wife if I could please speak at his funeral because of the importance of him in my life. And when I got there was probably 300 or 400 people. Again, an electrician, so a lot of union friends over the past couple of decades. And they loved him to such an extent that when he was ill in the hospital in a different state than even where he lived, these group of union friends put together this 9-band concert in the summer. And all the proceeds from the concert, once everybody was paid, came back to John and his family. And I actually watched them walk in and gently hand his wife a wad of money. And they weren't $1 bills. But that happened on more than one occasion. So it was just really incredible to witness this guy's love and to watch the people around him validating his value to them. So I got to speak at his funeral, and I really didn't have anything planned to say, and I really was selfishly wanting to just see and stand in front of these people and watch their love for this man come out. And so I told them, I said pretty much that it's just an honor to be in front of you and to be one of the many that got to be with him so many hours in a day and so many hours in a week and 3 months to learn from him something different about love. So I told them, I said I was watching TV last night thinking about what to say at this funeral, and this comedian came on, and I said, and I think this comedian's story kind of encapsulates John to a pretty high degree. And the comedian said, have you ever sat like in front of a TV or video screen and you got a box of cookies in front of you and you reach down and you eat a cookie and you're kind of spacing out on the show, and you reach down and you get another cookie and you're just really into that and you kind of got this groove going, and all of a sudden you reach down, there's no cookie. The last cookie was gone. You ate it and didn't even know that you ate it. And the comedian said, imagine, like how different would life be if you knew, if you reached down and you knew this is the last cookie. Like how different would life be? You suddenly would stop and look and evaluate that cookie, the value of that cookie, the taste of that cookie, the joy that all those prior cookies brought you. And he said, and you might even want to just not just wolf it down, but maybe even break it apart and share with the people that you love. This is the last cookie. The last cookie. And so at that funeral, I shared this story, and a lot of people were smiling, and a lot of people silently kind of nodding, because they understood why that story came to me the night before, was because it really was a representation of John's value systems. He just had the ability, and an ability he liked to implement, in being able to see the time that he's with his kids perhaps as the last cookie, the time that he spends with his wife and friends in the backyard as the last cookie. When he has to go out of state for another electrician's job because you have to follow your income and money for your family, that might be the last cookie, that might be the last trip. It always had this sense of value that this is really important because this could be like the last cookie. And I could see in all of these people's faces, they understood this was a creed that John lived by, and what an amazing creed to live by, and what a lesson for me to actually look at this man and realize, if I can live my life more consistently as if every moment is the last cookie, perhaps my life will actually move in a very, very different direction too. Thank you.